Hello my dear children, welcome to online classes. I am Manorma Rani and today I am going to teach you class 11th English snapshot supplementary chapter 5 Mother's Day. Today we will study first part of this chapter, Mother's Day. Children, mother. Mother is a magical word. Whenever you get hurt, you weep, you cry, and only one sound comes from your inside, come from your soul. And what is this? This is mother, mama, ma, nothing else. So children, mother is heartbeats in our family, and without her, there seems to be no heart throb. So children, without getting late, let's start this chapter, Mother's Day. First of all, we'll come to know about writer. Mother's Day, basically a play written by J.B. Priestley in 1950. J.B. Priestley was born in 13 September 1894. The full name of J.B. Priestley is John Boyton Priestley, and he was an English novelist, playwright, screenwriter, broadcasting and social commentator. His Yorkshire background is reflected in much of his fictions. Yorkshire is a very historic country in northern England. We also find Yorkshire background reflects much on his fictions. J.B. Priestley was died in 14th August 1984. Okay children? Now let's come to know what is play. Definition of play. Play is a mode of fictional representation through dialogue and performance. Play is also a type of drama written for theatre, television, radio, and film. Now comes to know what is the purpose of play. Since it consists of both visual and hearing elements, it is known to have a substantial effect on the mind of people. The effect is known to be better than something that is read or just simply heard. Thus, if a social message that holds a lot of importance is brought to life through drama, it holds immense potential for change. Immense means great, vast, and potential means possibilities. So, it holds immense potentials for change. Now, let's come to know something about this play. The play Mother's Day makes the viewers, readers hear what is unsaid in our own family. The play Mother's Day motivates us to bring changes in our own life. In this play, the writer wants to say that we all should respect, care, and help our mother for all the hardship she does for us. So, this is the power of play, that it can be considered a medium good enough for conveying a social message. Now children, before start this play Mother's Day, I have some questions for you that relate you with this chapter closely. My first question is, how much you love your mother? Yes children, I know that all of you love your mother so much. Why? Because mother loves you, mother cares you, mother provides everything for you. She stands for you anytime, anywhere. She never hurt you. So children, mother love you so much. That's why you love your mama so much. And it's very good for you. Now my second question is, what do you do to make your mother happy? Yes children, I know that very few children do something to make your mama happy. Why? Because you have not a lot of times. You are busy in your own works. That's why you don't get time to make your mama happy. Children, have you ever say your mama, I love you mama, for everything that she does for you? Have you ever say your mama, thank you mama, for everything that she does for you? If not, then start it now children, because your words thank you, I love you mama, it's really a magical word for your mama. It's make your mama happy automatically. Okay children? Now let's start our play. First of all, we'll come to know about characters in this play. These are Mrs. Annie Pearson, George Pearson, Doris Pearson, Cyril Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Annie Pearson is a pleasant looking woman, typical housewife, very fond of her family, speaking in a light agitated tone with a touch of suburb London. And George Pearson is husband of Mrs. Annie Pearson, ignore her wife all the time and don't appreciate her work. Doris Pearson is daughter of Mrs. Annie Pearson, a spoiled girl of around 20. Cyril Pearson is son of Mrs. Annie Pearson, a spoiled child. Mrs. Fitzgerald is neighbor of Mrs. Pearson. She is older and heavier. She has a strong personality, Irish accent, known the art of fortune telling with cards. Now children, let's come to know about this play. First of all, we'll come to know about place, time and scene. Place, the action take place in the living room of the Pearsons' house in London suburb. Suburb means an outlying district of a city. Time, the present. Scene, the living room of Pearsons' family. Afternoon, it is a comfortably furnished, much lived in room in a small suburban semi-detached villa. Much lived means used or old and semi-detached means a house joined by another house by a common wall. Okay children? If necessary, only one door need to be used, but it is better with two, one up left leading to the front door and the stairs and the other in the right wall leading to the kitchen and the back door. There can be a muslin covered window in the left wall and possibly one in the right wall too. The fireplaces is assumed to be in the fourth wall. There is a settee up right, an armchair down left and one down right. A small table with two chairs on either side of it stands at the center. Muslin means soft cotton, assumed means to imagine, settee up means kind of long sitting area. So children, if you want to enact this play on the stage, then you have to apply all these rules very carefully. Okay children? When the curtain rises, it is an afternoon in early autumn and the stage can be well lit. Mrs. Pearson at right and Mrs. Fitzgerald at left are sitting opposite each other. At at the small table, on which are 2 teacups and saucers and the cards with which Mrs. Fitzgerald has been telling Mrs. Pearson's fortune. Lit means well lightning and saucer means plates. Mrs. Pearson is a pleasant but worried looking woman in her 40s. Mrs. Fitzgerald is older, heavier and a strong and sinister personality. She is smoking. Sinister means having evil quality. Now, here writer tells us that the stage is full of lightning. It is the time of afternoon and season is early autumn season. Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald are neighbors. They are sitting in living room of Mrs. Pearson because Mrs. Fitzgerald visits Mrs. Pearson's home. They are taking tea. Mrs. Fitzgerald, who is a fortune teller, telling Mrs. Pearson's fortune with the help of her fortune cards. Now here writer describe the personality of Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Pearson is pleasant, but that time she is looking very worried, she is looking very sad, and she is a woman in her 40s. But Mrs. Fitzgerald is older, heavier and a strong personality, and she likes smoking. So children, we can say that this is Mrs. Pearson and this is Mrs. Fitzgerald. According to the description of writer, Mrs. Pearson is 40 years old woman. She is looking pleasant but worried at the time, and Mrs. Fitzgerald, who is older, heavier and stronger than Mrs. Pearson. Okay children, they are talking to each other. It is very important that these two should have sharply contrasting voices. Mrs. Pearson speaking in a light flurried sort of tone with a touch of suburban cockney, perhaps, and Mrs. Fitzgerald with a deep voice, rather Irish, perhaps. Flurried means nervous of anxious, Cockney means a native of East London, and Irish means related to Ireland. Mrs. Fitzgerald collecting up the cards, and that's all I can tell you, Mrs. Pearson. Could be a good fortune, could be a bad one. All depends on yourself now. Make up your mind, and there it is. Now here writer describe the contrast voices of Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Pearson, who belonged to Eastern London, there is a Cockney touch in her voice. Her voice is very soft and very polite voice. Mrs. Pearson, who belongs to Ireland, has some Irish touch in her tone. Her voice is very deep and very hard. Mrs. Fitzgerald collecting up the card from which she is telling Mrs. Pearson's fortune. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald tells Mrs. Pearson, the reason of your sadness is that your excess love for her family. You love very much for your family. But Mrs. Pearson, you can make your future good or bad. It's depend on yourself. So make up your mind and take a strong decision for her own rights. Okay? Mrs. Pearson, yes, thank you, Mrs. Fitzgerald. I am much obliged. I'm sure it's wonderful having a real fortune teller living next door. Did you learn that out east too? Obliged means make someone bound to do something, next door neighbors. Mrs. Fitzgerald, I did. 12 years I had of it, with my old man rising to be lieutenant quartermaster. He learned a lot and I learned a lot more. Lieutenant Quartermaster is the upper post in fortune teller. But will you make up your mind now, Mrs. Pearson dear? Put your foot down once and for all and be the mistress of your own house and the boss of your own family. Foot down means to act family. Now Mrs. Pearson tells Mrs. Fitzgerald, very thank you, Mrs. Fitzgerald. I am very grateful and thankful to you, and it's very wonderful for me that a fortune teller is my neighbor. Now she again asked Mrs. Fitzgerald if she had learned the art of fortune telling from East. At this, Mrs. Fitzgerald replied, yes, I learned it from East at the time when I was only 12 years old from my old father. At that time, my father was becoming Lieutenant Quartermaster. My father learned a lot and I learned a lot more from him. But she again turned to Mrs. Pearson and tells her, Mrs. Pearson, make up your mind now. You have to take a strong decision. You have to become a mistress of her own house and boss of her own family. But your family behaving with you like a servant. So you take a stand for your own injustice. Mrs. Fitzgerald, no doubt about it all. Who's the better for being spoiled grown man, lad or girl? Nobody. You think it does them good when you run after them all the time. Take their orders as if you were the servant in the house. Stay at home every night while they go out and enjoying themselves. Never in all your life. It's the ruin of them as well as you, husbands, sons, daughters, should be taking notice of wife and mothers, not giving them orders and treating them like dirt. And don't tell me you don't know what I mean, for I know more than you have told me. A spoiled grown man means husband of Mrs. Pearson. Ruin means spoiled and dirt means dust. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald tells Mrs. Pearson, undoubtedly you are responsible for your own sadness because you run after her husband, her children, every time without taking rest. You provide everything for them. They ordered you and you follow them like you are not a master and boss of your own house, but you are a servant of your own house. They are enjoying their life a lot. They are happy in themselves, but you get nothing for them. You never get happiness from them. You feel loneliness in your own home. It's not only spoil you but also them. And it is the duty of husband, sons and daughter that they take care of her mother, her wife. But they are treating with you like a dirt. And she again tells Mrs. Pearson, don't tell me more about yourself because I know everything from you. They are treating with them like a dirt. And don't tell me more about yourself because I know everything for you, dear Pearson. Mrs. Pearson, dubiously, I keep dropping a hint. Mrs. Fitzgerald, hint? It's more than hints. Your family needs Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Pearson, dubiously, I suppose it is, but I do hate any unpleasantness and it's so hard to know where to start. I keep making up my mind to say have it out with them, but somehow I don't know how to begin. She glances at her watch or at a clock. Oh, good gracious, look at the time, nothing ready and they will be home any minutes and probably all in a hurry to go out again. Dubiously means doubtfully, and to have it out with, to discuss with. Good gracious is explanation of surprise. Now Mrs. Pearson again become very doubtfully, tells, I suppose it is, but I don't want to spoil my family's happiness because I love them so much. I keep making up my mind many times to discuss with them in this topic, but I can't understand how I begin my words. And suddenly she looked at the clock and surprised, oh my God, nothing ready and my family will be home any minutes and probably all in a hurry to go out again. Oh my God, it's too late. As she is about to rise, Mrs. Fitzgerald reaches out across the table and pulls her down. Saying this, Mrs. Pearson was about to rise, but suddenly Mrs. Fitzgerald comes close to her and pull her down. Mrs. Fitzgerald lets them wait or look after themselves for once. This is where your foot goes down. Start now. She lights a cigarette from the one she has just finished. Foot goes down means to stop happening something. Mrs. Pearson embarrassed. Mrs. Fitzgerald, I know you mean well. In fact, I agree with you. But I just can't. And it's no use you trying to make me. If I promise you I had really have it out with them, I know I wouldn't be able to keep my promise. Mrs. Fitzgerald tells Mrs. Pearson, let them go, let them free to do their work themselves, and this is the time from where your foot goes down. Your foot goes down means to stop happening something. And she lights a cigarette from one she has just finished. Mrs. Pearson feeling very ashamed. And she tells Mrs. Fitzgerald, I understand what do you mean, but you know, I will never treat with my family strictly, and you know I wouldn't be able to keep my promises. Now Mrs. Pearson is very sad, very depressed. She is in very miserable condition because she is fond of her family, she loves her family, but her family never appreciate her, never say thanks her for everything that she does for them. They always neglect her and she feels no loneliness in her own house. So Mrs. Fitzgerald tried her best to make up her mind that she should take a strict decision, for her own rights. But Mrs. Pearson, who is really very innocent, very polite, kind-hearted woman, is not agree to treat with her family strictly. Okay, children? Mrs. Fitzgerald, then let me do it. Mrs. Pearson flustered. Oh no, thank you very much, Mrs. Fitzgerald, but that wouldn't do at all. I couldn't possibly be somebody else. They had resent it at once and wouldn't listen, and really I couldn't blame them. I know I ought to do it, but you see how it is. She looks apologetically across the table, smiling rather miserably. Mrs. Fitzgerald coolly, you haven't got the idea. Mrs. Pearson, bewildered, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you asked me to let you do it. Flustered means agitated or confused, and bewildered means confused. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald tells Mrs. Pearson, if you can't do anything, then let me do it. At this, Mrs. Pearson becomes so confused. Oh no, but no thanks, Mrs. Fitzgerald. It's not possible for anybody else that they make understand my family, because they had listened it at once and wouldn't listen, and I never blame them for it because it's my duty, and you know, Mrs. Fitzgerald, I am unable to do it. And she looks apologetically across the table, smiling rather miserably. Mrs. Fitzgerald coolly, you haven't got my idea. At this, Mrs. Pearson again confused. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you want to take my place in my family and want to treat with them strictly. Mrs. Fitzgerald, I did, but not as me as you. Mrs. Pearson, but I don't understand. You couldn't be me. Mrs. Fitzgerald, coolly, we change places or really bodies. You look like me, I look like you. Mrs. Pearson, but that's impossible. Mrs. Fitzgerald, how do you know? Ever tried it? Mrs. Pearson, no, of course not. Mrs. Fitzgerald tells, I want to do it, but not as a Mrs. Fitzgerald, but as Mrs. Pearson. And Mrs. Pearson again confused, but I don't understand. What do you mean, Mrs. Fitzgerald? Mrs. Fitzgerald coolly tells her, let we change our body, our soul to each other. We exchange our bodies and soul. You look like me, I look like you. Mrs. Pearson, oh my God, is it possible? I think it's impossible. At this, Mrs. Fitzgerald asked him, why? How do you know it? Have you ever tried the process of transmission? At this, Mrs. Pearson tells, no, of course not. I have never tried it. Now children, I hope that you are enjoying this play very much. What will happen with Mrs. Pearson's family, with Mrs. Fitzgerald? We will come to know in the remaining part of this play. Okay children? Now note down these questions, short answer type question. What picture of Mrs. Pearson emerges in the opening of the play Mother's Day? And second question is, what was Mrs. Fitzgerald's advice to Mrs. Pearson? And long answer type question is, give a brief character sketch of Mrs. Fitzgerald. Okay children, we will meet in our next class. Till then, thank you. Have a good day.